going on in our country right now. And it just occurred to me watching some comedy that Donald Trump wants to put all the comedians in jail. And these people are saying they want Trump to support the First Amendment, right? Wants to take away news licenses because about him, right? So, but the one that really has been blowing my fucking mind lately is the weather manipulation nonsense being promulgated by people, primarily uneducated idiots on the right. And there's this massive level of Russian clickbait involved here. But the paradox is that global warming is a Chinese hoax, that there's no way billions of human beings engaged in daily activity can possibly produce enough pollution that we change our environment around us, the ability for the sun's energy to be absorbed by the gases in the atmosphere. But simultaneously, all the massive storms and wildfires that are happening are technology applied by man changing the environment as a host, pull the wool over everyone's eyes. Straight up 1984 Orwellian bullshit. Yes, cloud seeding exists. It's been around for a long time. How effective is it? Nobody can actually say because there's no way to actually tell. There's no control. There's no means of ascertaining its effectiveness scientifically. You just can say, oh, we put silver up there and it rained. Okay? Now, part of the conspiracy theory right now is that next-rad Doppler radar in conjunction with HARP are being used to electromagnetically move air masses. Okay? So now think about what electromagnetism and magnetism and the ability to move things with magnets. This is all things that are real. But can you pick up a silver coin with a magnet? No. There's an extremely weak dipolic magnetism in silver. All right, and it's one of the ways that you can tell the difference between a real silver coin is you put it on a strong magnet at an angle and see how much friction that occurs. Okay, and the same thing can happen with copper. You can put copper into a magnetic coil and drop it, and it slows its descent. But you're never going to be able to pick up a piece of copper with a magnet. All right, you're never going to be able to pick up because the dipolic force of magnetism in these metals is extremely weak, and there's no way to increase that strength even by combining it with iodide. Right, this is a non-organic material. It's a metal component, but it's not a metal. Okay, it's non-ferrous, it's non-magnetic. Okay, it's extremely weak dipole, but there's absolutely no means of increasing a magnetism to the point where microns of it can be shoved around through electromagnetic pulsation. That just isn't fucking real. But you're gonna see a whole shit ton of memes out there that sound really scary, and I call that fear porn because it causes you to have this little rush of adrenaline for learning something new, and there's something to be scared of, so you have fear, fight or flight factor, right? And all of that tears away your ability to exercise cognitive ability or cognitive exercise, right? You can't fucking think straight. So everyone like they're after it, they're and this is the fifth horseman of the modern apocalypse, the misinformation, right? So yes, there's silver iodide that's used to seed clouds. No, it's not able to be manipulating air masses through Doppler radar. Doppler radar reads the air mass. We can go on. This is the craziest shit. So They want to get rid of, through Project 2025, they want to get rid of all the weather, National Federal Weather um, Administration, NOAA, what is it? North American Oceanographic and Administration, Oceanographic and Aerial. Anyhow, the NOAA, right? I look at NOAA multiple times a day. So look at these radar images, just tell me, especially when there's weather happening, like when a band of rain is going to hit or turn to snow on the mountain so I can go ski fresh powder. Okay. They're not pushing that snow through. We do use silver iodide here in Utah, and I've seen experimentation, or it could have been even accidental chemical release that caused seeding of snowstorms from our Kennecott mine here, right? They put out all sorts of crap into the sky, but it was a Christmas Eve when Christmas Eve several years ago when I was driving taxi up in Park City, when I was driving along and the snow, all of a sudden we got like 2 feet dumped out of the sky in about an hour, a massive amount of snow. Luckily it was like 11 o'clock on Christmas Eve, and feeding the cat here some chicken, but there's no, it was such a huge wet dump, but it was blue, all right? And I did some research later, and that blue was barium, and I'm pretty sure that was not an intentional seeding effect, although it could have been somebody's idea of like, let's have a white Christmas, but I think more than an intentional effect, it was pollution from our Kennecott smelters here that caused the barium release. And they put all sorts of stuff out. We get pretty toxic rain here even, and some of it comes from that Kennecott smelters, and some of it comes from, we have the Dugway, all right, proving grounds, as well as the Tooele depot where they explode all the old munitions. And it's crazy because like that made the news recently. We had seemed like little mini earthquakes, and I always thought the explosions I was hearing was coming from a gunning range over at the point of the mountain here in Riverton Draper, but and you can hear these explosions all over, up in the mountains especially, and these ones were huge and were rattling the fucking building. And they had to come out and say, oh yeah, we're exploding ordnance out in Tooele, and we forgot to notify everybody. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on that we don't know about. And there, over on that Dugway, here's one of the craziest things that, like, so HARP, let's talk about the HARP for a second. And I'm going to be repeating this shit later on my paradigm shift, but I got a short one today, so, and I'm just like, I'm going nuts watching this, the insanity of 1984 and 2024, right? So HARP is I first learned about this in the 90s, right? But I've seen it. I've been up in Alaska, and when I was up there working for the BLM as a firefighter out of Fairbanks, we went down through Fairbanks, I'm sorry, and I got to see this thing. And some of the stories the locals were telling me were the different conspiracy theories. And so, like 25 years ago, so in the 80s, before they even built the HARP, they were talking about like, oh, it's gonna mess up the migratory ability of the caribou and the salmon, right? That was the first conspiracy theory, was we're our migratory animals are not going to be able to reproduce because they can't follow their migratory routes, right? And then when I was up in Alaska, and they were saying, oh, the crazy conspiracy theories are saying that, so the way the HARP actually works is it sends up, there's a frequency range, and I had it written down the other day, but anyhow, there's a frequency range in megahertz, and there's a slight range because it depends on different atmospheric conditions is what they're going to fine tune. They're aiming for the ionosphere, upper atmosphere, and they're exciting the molecules up there. Okay, so they're not. They're using an electromagnetic field to excite the electron valence and it doesn't move the molecule so much as it vibrates it and it causes heat energy, all right? And that heat energy will cause a warp or a expansion in the ionosphere and even blast a hole into it. When they shut off the system, it closes that hole within a matter of minutes and everything moves back in. But so through the same kind of concept, these are higher frequencies, but I use a very low frequency radio transmitter, for instance, to enhance dowsing. And it's not even dowsing, it's using this very low radio frequency transmitter to metal detect. All right. So it's not a whole lot different than metal detecting. Metal detecting isn't changing anything position in the ground, but it is exciting the molecule itself. Okay, and we've all seen or used a metal detector, right? And so when the HARP it's a similar concept of exciting the molecule. It's producing an energy release, but it's not necessarily moving the air mass itself, except for that it's changing the energy available, and that moves the molecules around, right? So like boiling water, all right? You're not moving the container of water, you are exciting the molecules and they're moving about within the container, right? Okay, so in 2020 or 2000, when I was up in Alaska, the conspiracy theory at that point was that HARP was manipulating storms by the ability to move the dome of the atmosphere and creating pressure gradients at the lower elevations that would suck in a storm into a particular location. All right, so now today, the story has come to tell the masses to live in fear and hatred towards their own government, that our government is spraying electromagnetic nanoparticles into the atmosphere, whether it's or whatever means, and then utilizing the NEXRAD Doppler radar that we read the rainfall with, and they're using that in conjunction with HARP, and mixing the wavelengths to cause air masses and storms and water to become magnetized. Please, I implore anybody to try and figure out exactly what that nonsense is. It's like flat earth level bullshit. But yeah, so more stuff on the same fucking lines is in Project 2025, they're going to eliminate overtime, period. So when Trump says he's going to get rid of overtime tax, he's not lying. He's going to get rid of all taxes on overtime pay, time and a half, because there won't be any more time and a half pay, right? So when we change the payment for hedge fund managers to call them tips, and we don't tax tips above $20,000 cumulative, seem the same kind of fucking nonsense, right? But it tends to be, I don't see anybody who has a left-leaning thought process who is promulgating, and even people who were more left of center are getting turned into 1984 adherents, cult members, through this toxic gaslight fumes that are choking freedom to death. It's fucking mind-boggling. Fucking mind-boggling. Let's protect freedom of speech by putting comedians in prison. Right. Anyhow, the whole fucking crazy. So we have a comet. We have two moons. We have Aurora Borealis. I'm calling it polylunatism, as the actual Helene hit the same day the second moon fucking captured. Like, holy fuck. Here, look, so we have oh, where's my, I wish I had a little toy Jesus. So we have dinosaurs and Jesus at the same time, but fucking mind-boggling how it, like, oh, I don't know. I don't understand how people are so easily manipulated with just nonsense. But it's 1984 fear porn. You literally people lose the ability. And it doesn't matter how hard I shake them and show them the actual science and information. It's like the flat earthers. You just come up with more boogeyman, more boogeyman, more boogeyman, more boogeyman. It's fucking crazy. Tin Man. Crazy motherfuckers. I'm trying to read some of these crazy people's comments. Crazy people, they came to be crazy. Appreciate y'all. That's all I had to say for this morning. I'm making coffee. I'm going to have a paradigm shift on here on Future Cannabis Project, and it's going to be a short one in a couple hours. But yeah, polylunaticism. People are fucking begging for a dictator. They don't quite understand that he's literally saying he's going to have a military occupation and door-to-door searches of everyone's homes to remove people who don't have documents. And that includes homeless veterans, people living on the streets. He's going to round up every homeless person and anybody who ain't got a fucking documents, right? We're throwing out our Constitution. And the only reason this dude's fucking running is to keep himself out of prison for the crimes he's committed. It is fucking I had somebody ask me in a chat earlier, like, don't you have anybody who went to school with, who went to prison? Like, yeah, I've been to fucking jail for nonsense bullshit because our America is full of fucking, we have for-profit prisons. So I literally went to jail for 46 days on a first misdemeanor. Yet we have this guy running for president who's raped people, who owns multi-hundreds of millions of dollars in fraud payments, convicted fraud. I'm not running for president, am I? I just want my daily bread. I want to get by. It's like trying to, it's like, oh, don't you know people? They're not the mean, they're not the worst people in the world, are they? It's like, they're not running for fucking president. And we're talking about a guy who bought a teen world beauty pageant so he could go into the girls' locker room while they're changing and naked and fucking creep on them. Right? I mean, literally one of the most horrible. Let's talk about the only contract this guy's ever upheld is literally the fucking 7 deadly sins. Putridly fucking fat, obese. Right? The guy's got fucking. So that's gluttony. We've got lust. We know he's how many wives, and he's cheated with cheated on every wife with the next one, plus how many women have said, oh wait, he claims he grabs them by the pussy even if they're married, but the people who follow him claim that he's a good Christian, would never rape anybody or kiss on anybody or cheat anybody or except for, yeah. So we all know he has more lawsuits in the world than anybody else in America, and primarily it's because he stiffs people pay. He said clearly that he doesn't like paying overtime, but we all do know that he's got thousands and thousands of lawsuits because he's been sued for not paying contracts, right? So we have gluttony, we have lust, let's see, wrath. The dude is one angry motherfucker. He believes in revenge. He thinks revenge is an eye for an eye is not a Christian dictum. That is an Old Testament, Old Covenant dictum. That has nothing to do with turn the other cheek, wear the armor of God, right? Let's see. So we have lust, gluttony, wrath, greed. Yes, those lawsuits we just mentioned. You know, the guy's all about me, me, me. You don't even hear him talking about anybody else's grievances. It's just his own grievances when he's speeching. Everything, you know, but also golden toilet, gluttony, lust. It all fucking adds together with the greed. Okay. Let's see. What's another one of the deadly sins? We have. There's 7 of them. I don't partake, so I can't tell you. Anyhow, he's an adherent to all of them. No, Smiley, the fuck you do? You're fuck you, Smiley. You fucking literally directly. You want a dictator who's gonna fucking take and round up everybody and fucking Yeah, dude. Whatever. You're a loser. You think Trump is a good human being. You can fuck off. I blocked you for a reason because you're a fucking idiot, dude. Your religion's all up your head. You can't even understand the difference between eye for an eye and turn the cheek, dude. Um, if yeah, you've been brainwashed, you've been corrupt. You're literally one of the perfect examples of the 1984 and 2024, dude. Good luck to you, man. I don't know what the hell you're following me for. Like honestly. Fuck. That's ridiculous, dude. Yeah, you're in a cult, dude. I'm actually blocking you, removing you from my fucking. You're not welcome to follow my channel. There we go. Bye, dude. I have absolutely no desire to have you in my life. I'm allowed to do that because we're like I have no need to have idiots and assholes in my life, and that's exactly what you've shown yourself to be. Um, anyhow, it's interesting. Um, yeah, it blows my mind. Literally worshiping the purveyor of the seven deadly sins as if it was some sort of good human being. And it's fucking, but y'all been brainwashed. Same fucking shit. Thinking that guy is a good human being is the same thing as thinking that silver iodine is magnetized. You can't magnetize silver, and you can't turn that piece of shit into a good human being, except for in your mind, right? In your mind, you can believe both those things simultaneously. That silver is magnetic, and Donald Trump is not going to be a dictator, even though he says it. That Donald Trump doesn't rape women, even though he says he grabs them by the pussy, right? That he's going to pay people. Everyone's going to get rich under Donald Trump, right? Like, this is one of the biggest fucking tariffs. Tariffs is a tax on you. He's going to keep saying that the other country pays the tariff, but it's not. It's a tax on you. And if you can't understand this shit, and all you got to say is it's better, but nobody can defend that. You're like, oh, it's a tax on the fucking people buying it from the other country. It's great when we're talking about steel from China versus steel being produced here in America. Okay. But when it comes to your food products, it's a whole different thing. Okay, so steel from China, they got it all from fucking taking all our recycled old fucking cars and crushing them up, right? Melted it down for cheap. So they can sell the steel for cheap, right? And so then when we build projects in America, we're looking for the cheap steel, right? That's a great place to put a fucking tariff on Chinese goods, on that steel, to keep that cheap steel from coming in and keeping American fucking factories going. But we don't have textile mills for making cheap clothes. Okay? We have very few electronics fucking factories. All of that shit, 10 to 50 to 100% is going to be an increase on your consumption. Increase on your consumption. Not billions of dollars from China. Okay? The tax of a tariff on steel is awesome to keep fucking money here in the States with United States corporations that are producing things here in the United States for the United States. We've outsourced everything since Reagan and trickle down, right? Trickle down on steroids is what Trump fucking does. Keep fucking tax breaking. There's no way to pay for the military, and it fucking keeps the world stable. And this is what the entire fucking one of the craziest things I hear is people who support Trump or these weather freaks attack me for where I was born in California as being a leftist, and then go ahead and produce a massive spewing of what sounds like hippie rhetoric from the 60s. Literally. Like, I mean, did you not understand? You're angrily calling me a leftist and then begging for socialism. No, they don't fucking get it. Anyhow, Fuck you and fuck Trump. Fuck you for voting for Trump. Just fucking mind-boggling. Nobody can even fucking. You can't even have a fucking conversation because, like, reality is so fucking twisted in these people's fucking minds. Literally so fucking twisted, right? Like literally believing that silver is somehow magnetized by Doppler radar and and a HARP unit in Alaska. So I mean, part of this HARP shit, they believe that this thing that takes up 22 acres has been miniaturized and fits in a fucking something the size of a house now, right? Or a large bedroom, right? It just doesn't. It's just mind-boggling. Like you have people comparing. There is no comparison of BLM and Jan 6. There literally isn't. There's two different. There's been hundreds and hundreds of innocent black people shot dead by police since the last BLM event, right? There's no comparing these two things. There's nothing but the power of mass psychosis. Is it folie à deux? Just straight fucking sucked in by a con man. The Sting. Go watch The Sting. It's fucking mind-boggling. I'm going to get off to breakfast here. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you in, anyone falls along 2 hours. I'm going to have a very short paradigm shift today because I got a funeral to go to. Peace out. See you on the flip side. Go out in the world, make it a better place with the meat suit you was given. And don't vote out of fear. Don't vote out of ignorance. Vote. If you all don't know, my ancestors came here 2 years after the Mayflower. I was raised in a house that was the actual voting precinct for the district. So whether I liked it or not, every 2 years I had democracy in my living room for breakfast. There ain't no getting this out of me. It's something I'm very passionate about, and freedom of, for, and by the people. Our Constitution is what we make an oath to, not a person. And while free speech is a very important thing, there's some people abuse it to great lengths for their own personal gain with absolutely no regard for, and that's what we call a con man. Later.